I'm Max Forrest,
I'm Paul Ilby.
and today we're going to review Godzilla Minus One. Show that off, Paul. Here's some of my Godzilla swag. Bam! Look at that.
It's cool.
Awesome. Check this out. Godzilla mug.
Very nice.
And of course, Godzilla socks.
Comfy.
Paul, why don't you show off a bit?
So, right here I have the Japanese Godzilla Store exclusive 4K box set of Godzilla Minus One.
Damn.
And over here I have the soundtrack CD and also Japanese exclusive.
Very nice. Now, Paul doesn't know we're doing this, so we're going to surprise him. But live on the air, we're going to give him a Godzilla 1984 Funko.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
Wow, look at that. Thanks. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome, dude.
Cool, man.
And there was something else, too. Oh, yeah. We got an extra for some reason. It's a Godzilla
Oh.
keychain.
Hey, look at that.
Oh, yeah, I have that, too. Right. I don't know if you can see it. It's Godzilla.
Wow. Nice. Wow. Oh, this is nice. That's a nice one.
Yeah, I like his look.
Yeah. One of my favorite movies, too.
84?
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. Wow.
So, without further ado, my review, and then we're going to go to Paul. And I think Paul liked this movie a lot more than I did. But
Yeah.
it's good to have spirited discussion. Okay. This review contains spoilers. So, Godzilla Minus One, directed by Takashi Yamazaki, it's starring Ruinosuke Kamiki as Koichi. Let's roll the trailer.
今度の戦いは死ぬための戦いじゃない未来を生きるための戦いなんです
So without any further ado, my loves, likes, and dislikes of Godzilla Minus One. My loves. My favorite part of the film was actually right at the beginning. A much smaller version of Godzilla arrives and does a massacre at an army base. I really dug the smaller Godzilla before he gets atomic bombed and grows to gigantic proportions. I loved watching him pick people up and just throw them. Really cool. My likes. First off, I like the Godzilla design a lot. Over the decades, Godzilla has had many different looks. I really dug this design. I liked every scene with Godzilla in it. When we're firing the machine gun at Godzilla who's chasing them in the ocean, so dope. When he invades the city and takes a chomp out of that train, so dope. But honestly, I didn't like how after everything we go through to defeat Godzilla, and it's a hell of a lot, in the last shot of the movie he just regenerates. All that for nothing. That pissed me off. Another dislike is a bit of a nitpick, but he stands up in the middle of the ocean. What's he standing on? The ocean is way too deep to stand in. Can somebody explain this to me? Lastly, I didn't think the VFX were good. I'm aware it won the Academy Award, but I thought the VFX were mediocre. The climax of the film is edge-of-your-seat exciting. I really enjoyed it. But it was all for nothing. He regenerates. And that really takes points away from the movie for me. I was so invested and then got slapped in the face. I remember seeing Godzilla in 2014, another very grounded Godzilla movie. This was the first time we were seeing a Godzilla that looks photorealistic, and when they revealed him at the airport and he lets out his roar, I lost it in the theater. Godzilla Minus One has nothing as magical as that going for it. My verdict? Or it succeeds Godzilla 2014 with its human drama, and because of that human drama in Godzilla Minus One, it's saved from being a negative review to a 3 out of 5. I imagine Paul feels very, very differently than me, and I'm looking forward to seeing his review.
Well, I think it's pretty clear. I love this movie. I saw it 4 times in theaters. Opening night with some friends, the next week with my mom, the next week after that with my girlfriend. She's my fiance now. And then again when Minus Color came out. And then I watched it again on streaming with, you know how much I hate streaming at this point, so I don't need to tell you how bad it looked. And then here, I have the Japanese Godzilla Store exclusive box set with the 4K disc of In Color and the Blu-ray of Minus Color, plus the soundtrack CD.
And shirt.
And the shirt and the hat. And there's a reason why I have the soundtrack CD. The music is absolutely chilling and awe-inspiring. The new themes, composed by Naoki Sato, blend perfectly with Akira Ifukube's original Godzilla suites. The re-recording of Ifukube's originals are faithful, but also add depth and power. They're used perfectly in the film. Towards the end, right before the final showdown, the original military theme swells right as the battleships are mobilizing. Dude, like chills every time. And it hypes you up, man, like perfectly executed. I've always been a fan of the more serious-toned Godzilla films, especially the Heisei era ones. They can get a little wacky though, but I love the design for Minus One. It's based off of the Godzilla The Ride, which came out in 2021. It was this 3D flying simulator ride that was also directed by Takashi Yamazaki. So he already came up with an amazing design, clearly inspired by the 90s and modern looks, so why change it for this one? I loved how vengeful Godzilla is in this one, actively seeking and killing humans for intruding in his home on Odo Island, and then horrifically scarring him during the H-bomb tests. You can really feel the pain and anger in his eyes as he stomps and destroys everything. His atomic breath is one of my favorite features. In the original, it acts like a nuclear bomb, not so much a beam, but a spray of pure power melting anything in its path. This one has a similar idea, acting like a nuclear bomb. Of course, he shoots a beam like Godzilla is known for, but it explodes its targets in a violent mushroom cloud. It feels so powerful and destructive, a true force of nature Godzilla is supposed to be. As most people know, it won the Oscar for Best VFX. There are some scenes that definitely earned it. The chase in the water, when he's going after the boat with our main characters, is stunning. It was a unique scene that we've never really seen before. It can only work with a Godzilla of this size. He's much smaller in this one, yet there's a true sense of scale. The 2014 Godzilla portrayed his size very well too, which was directed by Gareth Edwards, and his film The Creator was up against Minus One for the best VFX. Personally, I think The Creator should have won. I think Minus One was given the win though because the team was so small and the budget was so tiny. It's insane how much they were able to pull off, even though not all of it is perfectly polished. There's a couple of nitpicks you can make, like, some of the VFX shots being a bit wonky, or how does Shishikima find Noriko in the crowd during the Ginza attack so easily? But to me, they're excusable, because the story is fast-paced and engaging. One of the few Godzilla films with a really powerful human story. Now, I do agree with Max about the very, very end being a bit cheap with Godzilla regenerating, but it doesn't bother me as much, because there was another Godzilla movie that did the exact same thing, but far, far worse and much, much stupider. But I'll get into that later. Anyway, I love this movie. As a lifelong Godzilla fan, it was rewarding to see a Japanese Godzilla film get worldwide praise. A huge accomplishment for such a small team, an aspiring story behind the camera and on screen. 5 out of 5, thumbs up, great success. Ooh. So,
Okay.
slightly different opinions on it.
I would say
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah.
I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
It's a much smaller Godzilla. I loved him throwing the person. I thought all that was awesome. There was a lot I liked.
Yeah.
Like between 3.5 and 4, I would say. Like a 3.75, I would give it. Because it just didn't grab me. So it would have been a 3.75, but that ending went after everything.
Oh, I know.
All the effort, after everything. For him to just completely regenerate, and then that ominous bam, bam, ba, or whatever the music is.
Yeah, the music.
I was just like...
No, I can understand your...
And so it went to a 3. It made me so annoyed I went to a 3.
I understand, because it is a little cheap, But I think I've been burned so bad before that, this one is really not as bad as So, have you seen Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack?
No.
I think it came out in 2002.
No, I didn't see that.
It was fine. It was cool. Interesting take on Godzilla. They kind of swapped the stories. Made King Ghidorah more of like a hero in this one, and Godzilla the villain. Pretty cool. Go through this whole thing. The monsters unite. They kill Godzilla. Mothra sacrifices herself to supercharge King Ghidorah. He flies into Godzilla and blows him up. And, the characters survive and everything, and they're like, oh, finally, Godzilla's destroyed. And then at the very end, Godzilla's literally blown into like a million pieces. The camera comes down, and under the water, you just see a severed heart. The heart is not connected to anything. It's not connected to a body. It's just a severed heart, and it just starts beating. I'm like, what is that? Like, that looks so stupid. Like,
what's it supposed to mean that he's alive?
That Godzilla's going to regenerate, but he's like regenerating from a heart that's not connected to anything. Like
so that regeneration bothers you?
That
the
one
other one doesn't bother you?
See, now the one from -1 kind of slightly makes sense because at least the body is mostly intact.
Okay.
That's where like I do agree it is a little cheap, and of course they want to set up a sequel and all that. But,
I was thinking that it seemed like they wanted to make a sequel.
But fine, whatever. So yes, I agree. It's not. Like I said, it's a little cheap, but it's not as offensive as the one from Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah.
I thought one thing that was very cool on this on -1 was when he had that. Is it a machine gun?
Yeah.
He had? And Godzilla's swimming after them, and they're...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole scene was really well played. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah. What's his motivation? Why is he killing everyone? I didn't understand.
Because they bombed him with the H-bombs. He was like mortally wounded and scarred and like mutated into something he didn't want to be.
Oh.
And he's just exacting vengeance on everyone.
So, okay, you give me this reason as to why he wants to hurt people in Ginza. That's the place?
Yeah.
He wants to hurt those people. But before he gets bombed and disfigured and all that stuff, he's on this island. What's it called?
Odo.
And he's a smaller Godzilla, and he's killing people anyway.
Well,
because he doesn't have that revenge, you did this to me thing. He's just a douche.
Well, they're invading his island.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Is that much?
I think there's a quick bit of dialogue where Doc mentions later in the movie where he's like, Godzilla's very territorial. So I think just the fact that the army base or that kamikaze pilot base was on the island, he's territorial.
Okay, very good.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice. Okay.
All right.
Outro. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please subscribe, share, comment, and support us on Patreon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.